Breakfast at Mom's. I'm Mom, aka Sandra, and these are my daughters, Candace and Alyssa, and these are my daughter-in-laws, Brooks and Felisha. And we want to welcome you to season 3. We're so excited that you have come to join us with this online community. I'm going to say of women, but I know men, you are watching too because you let us know that you're watching. So welcome. We're here to start a brand new season to discuss the things that you go through, that we go through, and our 2 cents on that. So today our moderator is Brooks. And what are we going to talk about today?
So this episode is kind of really meaningful to me because we're going to dive into the incredible bonds that we have as a sisterhood, as a support system, and just what we, the support that we give each other, on a daily basis. So, as we explore the relationships, and we made the joke that it's like by blood or by choice, because I think you find sisters and sisterhood kind of everywhere we go. But how does it enrich our lives? How does it, keep our connections, things like that? So first I wanted to ask you guys, because sisterhood has so many meanings and connotations out there. What is your definition of sisterhood?
I don't know if I have a definition per se.
Well, what does it mean to you?
Okay, so sisterhood to me is a group of women that are my go-to. They're the people that when I'm facing a difficult situation, when I need someone to pray, I have that group of women that I go to, that I surround myself with, that I think about them. I'll send them a text, and they're my support when I need that support, and theirs as well.
Yeah. No, same. I think sisterhood to me is like the people you lean on, but it's also the people who get you. Like they just know who you are. They know like your likes, your dislikes, and they like get you as a person.
And they
that
accept
to me,
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no
That's
judgment,
my
I feel
sisterhood.
like. That's they like you for who you are. Exactly.
exactly.
No judgment.
Yeah.
And that's what I like.
You can tell them about what your kids are doing and how you respond, and they do not judge.
They don't care.
It's like, oh, same. I just did that yesterday.
Yeah.
I so wish I had that when you were little, because I really didn't have that. We didn't have the phones to text, and you didn't have the internet.
I'm just thinking back to like what Chara would done, what conversations you would have.
The amount of where I needed to vent and be able to call and tell somebody. I just didn't really have that then. So I really love that you guys do have that. That's really awesome. And I'm thankful for, not only are we family, but the sisterhoods and the bonds that we have together. I am so grateful for that, because we can tell each other things that we maybe wouldn't tell somebody else. We don't want somebody else to know. And we know we're in a safe place, and that we're not judged, and that we're loved regardless.
Yeah. I love that.
Like we have a lot of deep, dark secrets or something. I don't know.
So when I was researching sisterhood, it came up with about 8 things that when you put sisterhood out into the world, into the internet, like what women think about, right? Okay. And y'all hit on a lot of them. So, one of them was support and solidarity. So obviously, that's where you want to find your network of individuals who are going to be with you through the ups and downs, through all of that. A bond and connection. So it's bonding over, certain experiences and things like that. Empowerment and growth. So it's like really making sure that those people in your system, like you're lifting them up. And I think that's the most important part to me about sisterhood, is that like when you find your people, not only do you have your connection and stuff, but it's always such a positive, like you're not tearing each other down, and you're not pulling, you are there to lift that person up, and you don't even realize it that you're doing it because you already have that relationship.
Which is exactly what my dream was for having the podcast. 6 years ago, when I really felt, Felie wasn't even in our lives then, but I really felt that we needed to do a podcast before podcasting was a thing, but we needed to do a podcast that had to do with reaching women who were at all stages of their life. At that time, it was Alyssa being single in college, Candace single and as an adult, and you being a Nulia with a little child at that time, and me being an empty nester. And because we all walk through these stages of our lives, but it's just great to have that sisterhood. And even though we can't speak to you directly every single day, we do want you to know that we are hopefully part of your sisterhood, where you can leave those comments, not for the fact of leaving comments. Send us a private message on our website. We want to know what you want us to talk about, because we want you to be like, wow, I feel part of that community, even though I'm not there with them in the room.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's really good.
I like that.
Sure. Another part I think of sisterhood too is the accountability part. It's the part where they can come to you and say something maybe to help correct you, but you're not offended, because you know it's coming from a place, oh, this person really, really loves me. So I need to listen to what they're actually saying.
Right.
I hope whatever I say does come off like that. Not offensive. Sorry. I'm just one of those blunt people that will just tell you hey, let's do that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, maybe I laugh out loud.
Always add an LOL. It'll be
just to
fine.
make sure that's coming across as I'm not being but I'm being like this.
So I heard it one time. You tell the truth. Think of it as a hot dog. Love is the bun, one side of the bun. Truth is the hot dog, and then love is the other side of the bun. So I fluff it up. When I have to tell somebody something that I don't want to tell,
fluff. I love
it. I fluff and I overly do it because I don't want to hurt their feelings.
And then you also text us hours later and apologize for whatever you might have offended.
You are very good.
You are.
I'm the worst. If you're going to pick anybody in this group to go to confront somebody, don't pick me, because I'm the worst. Because I do come off, Candace thinks she's hard. I do come off very blunt and very hard, and I don't mean to be.
Exactly.
I'm just very black and white and matter of fact, where I think you do that really
very good.
Really
Brooks does too. I'm like, okay, I had to write this, but I want to write like this. Can you put some fluff on it? Can you do? I love that.
I use the term sandwich it. I'm like, sandwich the good, and then leave it something.
A Sour Patch Kid. First and sour, then I'm sweet. That's what I am. I do love Sour Patch Kids.
I love it.
I'm hungry.
Do we have any Sour Patch Kids?
We are getting so off topic.
But that's definitely how I feel. So when my sister comes in, that's what I'm hoping.
So, but because you said we're getting off topic, we're really not. Because my next question was, obviously we feel like sisterhood embodies more than just a mere friendship. But just like any friendship and relationship, it faces challenges.
Yes.
So what are things that threaten the relationship of sisterhood? So being that you guys were talking about tone and how things are communicated,
right?
Miscommunication there can always threaten.
Or not communicating at all. I have a very dear friend of mine, and we were just discussing this yesterday, she had someone that she felt the situation was off, but she didn't go to that person. And then this went on for a while, and that person came to her, and now she's very hurt and she's very offended by that. And I thought, wow, what a great lesson. Don't wait until it explodes into something. Go to that person and say, hey, maybe it's just me, but I feel like something is a little bit off here. Am I wrong, or are you upset about something? So that was a good check-in reminder for me yesterday as we were discussing this, hey, don't wait. Go and say, hey, is something wrong? Because sometimes a little tiny thing can become this massive 100%. Thing that it was never even... it could have been nipped in the bud.
I'm the first person to text, are you upset with me?
So true.
I remember with Alyssa one time, she kept telling me no when I wanted to hang out. And I finally texted her, I'm like, do you hate me? Is something wrong? Every time I ask you to do something, you don't want to hang out with me. Now she says yes every time.
Yeah, that is true because of that. I'll think through, and it had nothing to do with you. It was just life circumstance that I was like, no, I'm busy. Now I will think when you ask me, I'm like, have I told Flea no to something recently that I need to make sure that I say yes?
I think also just now went to brunch a couple weeks ago with a lot of friends that I haven't seen in a long time and haven't kept the communication up, or it faded because of social media. I'm like, oh, I see they're busy. I'm not going to bother them or whatnot. But also just knowing that sometimes there's a season for friends, and sometimes those friends have to go do other things. I was really close with a friend back in the day, and I thought we were like great friends. And sometimes you're just like, you find out little things. They're like, I don't want that a part of my life. And that's the hard part, like giving them up, like, you know what, I'm going to let them do what they have to do because I can't keep them where we should, like, I'm going this way, they're going that way. I don't want to restrain them if that's where the direction they want to go. Right. I think that's really hard because you don't want to lose friends. Like, especially all the kids are like, think of high schoolers, like, oh, they're my best friend forever. They'll be my best friend for life. Like, girl, no, there's very rare, like 2 or 3 of them. Don't worry. But like, I had to learn that, like, it's okay to let that friend go. Like, if you don't want to be my friend, that's totally fine. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I want the best for you.
Yeah,
always,
for sure. I think too, just knowing kind of that person's personality. I know I talk about my best friend Brittany often on the podcast, but when we were in college together, that was something her and I both had to learn about each other. I am introverted. She is extroverted. So for us to spend time together, we had to find that balance where we weren't constantly frustrated with each other of, you always want to go out and I always want to stay in. Like, we have to be able to say, okay, she loves going out and meeting people, so I'll show up as her friend and we'll get ready and we'll have a night out and we'll have a good time. And then she knows, okay, well then the next day we're going to be staying in the house, we're ordering Chinese food. Like, that's what I need for
watching
me.
Friends.
Yeah. So I think kind of knowing that other person and having that compromise of like, how do we hang out? How do we meet? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. So one of the ones I was thinking about was like, 2 was like jealousy. Like, that can always be a big thing that like hits in with a sisterhood.
But do you find that honestly, if somebody is jealous of you, are they truly, really a friend?
You know, and I was thinking that through too this morning as I was driving here, and I was like, and maybe jealousy is not the correct term. Maybe it's a competition.
But no, I would agree with this because it could be comparison. Like, so, and it's a heart thing. For instance, if Flea and I are talking about how we raise our daughters and she's like, oh, I did this for Maddie and this for Maddie, this for Maddie. I have to heart check myself of, oh my God, I didn't do that. Like, oh, I wish that I could blah, 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 blah. And go instead, okay, that's a really good idea. Way to like, tell me about that. Maybe I can implement something in my life. It doesn't mean that I don't love Flea and I don't love what she's doing for her daughter. But I think it is that like gut check of like, okay, well then there's something going on with me if I'm immediately going, oh, well, how come I don't, or I don't have, you know what I mean? So I don't think it I don't think it means you don't love that person and you're not a good friend. But I think that's just like a human trait that we have when you first hear something to be like, oh,
comparison, not jealousy, but comparison.
But I think it kind of intertwines with each other once it gets to a certain point, you know? But so, and then the other one was lack of empathy. So like when you just, you know, aren't able to give what you need to give to that sisterhood. Like, I think that's when it, like you said, you had to heart check yourself and be like, okay, Flea needs this, you know, and now I've got to think through of when, you know, those times when if you just think about yourself constantly and you're not being empathetic to your sisterhood, that's gonna be a threat to it. Yeah. It's not gonna keep going.
And I think too, sometimes maybe you're just a woman who you don't need a group. You just need one person because there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe there's just one close person in your life and not a group. Now I have a pact, so I have a group of women. So, but some people I've recognized that. Maybe even going back to the jealousy, which I don't like that word because I feel like if you're jealous of someone, you envy what they have. You don't.
Maybe it is comparison.
It's comparison is a better word in that. But I have been with women and realized, hey, she's not really good at a group of women. She likes the one-on-one.
Or the two.
And so I would have to be, okay, well, she's important to me. So I need to make sure that I spend that one-on-one time with her and invite her into the group settings. But if she doesn't want to be in the group settings, then be okay with that. Recognizing that some people just need more one-on-one.
It doesn't have to be 10, 5.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
There's no
100%.
certain number.
A sisterhood is just a relationship.
Right. I also, going back to your empathy, and I don't know, empathy, sympathy kind of go in the same way, but also know your characteristics of your friends, I have to say, because if you're really truly their friend, you know how they are. But my heart, and I don't know about for anybody else, but I have a really hard problem when someone, let's just say someone has gone through a hard situation, an illness, a passing. I know I suck at saying, like, I know I can say I'm sorry, but I do, like, I don't know what else do I do? I'm so, like, when mom had cancer, I had no idea what to do. Like, I was just like, okay, just go every day.
Nobody knows what to do.
And I felt so bad, though, because, like, I felt bad. Like, I don't know.
And I can just tell you from that side.
Yeah, but I hope they understand how that's just Candace. She doesn't mean anything. Her sorry is sorry.
They're not thinking about
exactly.
that.
But I feel like I hope they don't think. But I hope they don't think
they're involved in their own situation, what they are.
That's what
but here's the great thing about texting. You know, we can get away with texting this day and time far more than making a phone call. Sure. So just a text of, hey, I just want you to know I'm thinking about you today. And if there's anything I can do, let me know. That is good enough. Because saying nothing literally causes a catechism in that relationship.
Right.
Saying nothing, and you know from going through health things, when you say nothing, you think I don't know what to say, but you are making a divide that you don't realize because they already are feeling alone and upset. Right. So when they get a text that says, I just want you to know that I'm thinking about you. I love you.
Strings attached text.
Right.
Not what has to be responded to.
Yeah.
And that's how I normally do it.
You don't even have to answer me.
That I did, like I didn't do enough.
Yeah.
You know, that's
because
sometimes.
I'm walking in those seasons now where, we're losing friends. We've talked about losing a very dear friend of mine, of ours. So, his wife is still here and my heart breaks for her every day. And so I know that I have to be that friend and text her and let her know, I love you. How are you today? What can I do for you today? Because she's walking through a seasons of first without him every single day. But to say nothing because I don't know what to say because my husband is still here, that makes it worse. People just want to know that you're thinking about them, that you care about them, and that they're not over here in this world that they already feel isolated and alone.
Nice.
I think that's exactly what I was going to say. I think being proactive and addressing all the different, threats that we've mentioned and those types of things involves open communication. That's what it is to each other, the empathy, the commitment to each other. And that's what's going to keep the relationship, from having any of those cavities, as we want to call them.
Yeah.
But so obviously we talk about that, we have a sisterhood right here at this table, we have this special bond that we've formed and, and are sharing with all of you and wanting you to be a part of. But I feel like with our sisterhood, it's a support system. We're confidants for each other. We inspire each other. We encourage each other. But so how do you guys feel sitting at this table? Our roles in the sisterhood shape your personal growth and your daily life. Like, what are some examples that you guys can give me of like what our sisterhood looks like?
Well, I can tell you a great example. I say this all the time jokingly, but I really mean it. I always say that I want to be these women when I grow up because they do amaze me. Like they walk through things and I'm thinking, what? How? Yeah. I would have handled that horribly. So I really believe that when I say that I want to be you guys when I grow up, because you all have very good strengths that I look at you and I go, wow. And then as mom, I'm like, I'm so proud of them. But I've watched you each handle hard things and how you handle that and how you've walked through that has really been amazing to me. It helps me to see how I can be a better person when I go through things.
I think it gives perspective. Like if I'm not understanding what's going on in a certain situation and I go to any of y'all and I'm like, hey, like this is what's going on. What am I not seeing here? Yeah. And it's given me that advice and I know that it's coming from a place of again, a place of love,
Right.
and that it's not something that you're going to tell me advice that could really hurt me or do anything wrong. So I think it's perspective, realigning that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of this just comes from spending time together in conversations. Like I was saying, Flea and I can talk about motherhood together. I can talk to Candace about gardening and baking that I might not be able to talk to everybody else around the table about, but I have people who I can go to, and it's just like life things. I think for some of us, if you go maybe to work every day and maybe your work environment isn't like a chatty one and you're just there to work, or if you're at home like I am by yourself, sometimes you can just be like in your own head about stuff, and being able to talk to another adult, another woman, not just like your spouse, and get this kind of perspective and feeling. That to me, I think has been what shaped my adulthood, is being able to talk to you guys about just everyday things, not always the big, massive fall apart moments, but just like, hey, this is what happened this week, or Bella was crazy, or I tried this new sourdough recipe, like just like normal stuff.
Yeah.
Love it.
Exactly.
For me, it's more of like I see you guys as inspirations. So like, obviously I've been married the longest out of the girls. It's like, I was setting away and I was doing things, and like having conversations with you all of how you raise your houses and how you have your routines and how you do certain things. I've been able to implement those things, and it's like changed just how we operate. And it's like different things along those lines, just as a specific, but just in other ways of like how you all have walked through things or answered questions and done. It's an inspiration to be like, okay, they can do it. I've seen it happen. We can do this, we can get through it.
Yeah.
But then on the daily life, like I think we've talked about it multiple times. I mean, we're all so close that what we were texting 5:30 this morning? It's just like it's so simple.
5:30.
Those two.
Not I.
Candace and I are sleeping.
I was sleeping.
We're sleeping.
I need my beauty rest.
I woke up with Alyssa's text. I was like, oh, good morning, sister.
But it's just something that like you have that person, like, it is what it is. Like you can reach out, I need you to pick up the kid, can you?
Yeah, 100%.
Like we're all just there for each other.
And I think just being close, like talking about this morning, Flea texted me and was like, hey, like, can you ride with me? Like, I just want to hang out with you. So that I'm texting Candace. I'm like, I'm going to ride there with Flea. Can you take me home? Like, we're just like having that kind of community. Yeah.
Exactly. So, I think it's just so important just in talking about that. Like we're just a small group of women, but in the sisterhood of the world, it's just so important to show how important women, how, just, it can't be overstated of how important it is that we have these relationships and we have each other. So can you share a specific story about how someone in your sisterhood, obviously it doesn't have to be this table, it can be anybody, but like played a significant role in your life? Is there a moment that you can literally go back to and grab and be like, that was a moment that if I didn't have that person, it would have been different?
I can tell you that every time I was diagnosed with cancer, I called my friend Lisa because I knew she would drop her world to come and be with me, to do what needed to be done. She took me to some of my treatments when I had the last bout of cancer. And I just know that when I'm in a situation that I'm so overwhelmed, I cannot even think straight. I know that I can call her. And one of the things that we haven't always seen eye to eye on everything, but when I go home in a situation and I would say, okay, Lord, am I right or is she right? I just want to know in this situation, where she's come to me and said, hey, I need to maybe talk to you about this. And I'm like, no, that's not true. And then I would go back and go, okay, am I right in this or is she right? I just want to know the truth. And then we have that great relationship that if she was right, I can go back and go, you know what, you were right. And I love you for coming to me and telling me. And she is just the person who has walked through with me through some of the darkest, hardest times of my life.
What's great about even your sisterhood with Miss Lisa is that she loves all of us.
Oh, like second mom.
Just like as
second mom.
And you know what? When you think about all of my really close girlfriends, they're all very much intertwined in our family dynamic that we love, that they are very much part of us. They're at our house with you guys. They're, we always think, oh, we're asking them to come or this and asking them. They're very much part of that.
Thing. Like even though she's not technically my sisterhood and but I still know, like, if I needed something, she's just a phone call away.
Yeah, 100%.
There's multiple people in your sisterhood that I could be like, all right, I may not talk to them every day and check up on them.
They would drop everything to help you. I love that. I love how they love I love how they love on you guys as much as I do. So
I think
love that.
My best friend is the same way.
Brittany.
Brittany has been integrated into our family since
she calls me mom.
She does. But to your question, I mean, that is my person. We actually bonded over our own kind of I shouldn't say breakup, but just honestly like trauma out of relationship. I know it was the Lord. We say it all the time, how it is wild. We would have been in the same, sometimes classes, and never met or interacted our first year of college. Like, I truly believe it was like the Lord saving us kind of in a bubble for that moment when it was like everything broke. We met each other. She happened to be the roommate of the girl that I was sharing a suite with. And the day that she broke up with her boyfriend, that it was a lot of trauma that she was walking through, came over to my suite and was like, hey, do you want to share some Oreos? I had not told a soul what had happened to me. Like, nobody in my life knew what I had been walking through. And she sat down, and that night we both shared with each other, like, what was going on. And I know that was the Lord being like, okay, here's your person for this season. And now she's walked through every low moment to high moment of my life. She doesn't live here. Otherwise, she would be at every family day.
To listen to the Lord.
She would probably be at this table. Yes,
Florida.
She was supposed to be part.
She was
when I first did that. We went to the women's conference with Brittany. And she was supposed to be part of doing this.
So she would be,
but
she lives states away from us. But even for now, even still, we talk every single week, or we're texting throughout the week. So we still have like each other. And when we get on the phone, we know we're going to be on the phone. We're going to be on the phone for a couple hours, just talking about every detail. So this is what happened on Monday, and this is what happened on Tuesday. Like, that's just like the relationship we still have. So I'm very thankful for her. Shout out to Britt. Love you.
Well, for me, I know most of y'all, if you've watched the podcast, you've heard the story that, Candace obviously saved my life in a way with the kidney. But to me, that's obviously huge. Right. No shadow on that whatsoever. But to me, we make jokes about it at the work and stuff because we work together. But Candace will ask me every day, have you taken your medicine? Have you drank enough water?
She's taking care of her kidney still.
But Mom, but it's her, to me, that's the sisterhood of, like, she cares about me.
Yeah.
Yes, like, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, we're all there. Like, we are constantly taking care of everybody else. And at work, I'm wearing multiple hats and I'm taking care of everybody else's problems. But when she walks in, she's like the one that's like, all right, what about you for a second?
Yeah.
And to me, that's the sisterhood there, that you have that person that's like, all right, nope, pause.
Yeah.
So like that's that moment.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. I love that. And about that. Anybody else?
I mean, where do I start?
We only have like a minute.
I know. Anyways, I think you find those friends, like I said, seasonal friends. And I have to say, I have had really close friends that have helped me in hard times, like where a place to live, let me sleep on your couch, let me have and they are seasonal friends for that time. Yeah. But then I have definitely had those friends that are like, I could call up, like you said, and they'll be there for me. And the funny thing is, they all have different personalities. And then you have to cater to those personalities and their personalities. I mean, I have a person who's like, yoga, Lord, and I have another one's like, let's go be spontaneous. And then I'm just like, I'm in between. But the thing is, they're all part of you, and they make you, or you're part 100%. Of them, and they need that. And I think that's great for your friendships.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Well, I hope that this has kind of reminded us to, cherish and nurture, our sisterly bonds in our own lives, and just the support and the strength of sisterhood is just so important. And what we give and we receive, and when you look around kind of this week and you kind of, go through, like, kind of look at those people who you think maybe, oh, you know what, she is part of my sisterhood, and send them a text, we love you. We want you to be part of our sisterhood. So send us a message. Let's talk.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. That's all we have for today. So like Brooks said, send us a message. Let us know. And we truly do want to be part of your sisterhood. And we hope that you feel like you are part of ours as well. So until next time, have a fabulous, fabulous day. Bye.